Theodore Roosevelt is anytime, and it's good. And so, honest to goodness, don't try to tell me what you're going to do for us. You make a great film or miniseries about Theodore Roosevelt, you're going to do more than anybody has ever done, because then a lot of people will come. That's all you have to do. You don't have to, ask all the other little things, because it's salesmanship. I don't need that. I want a great story, one that's successful commercially, so you make a ton of money. Because if that happens, we win.
Yep.
That's all. And all the rest of it about film commissions, I'm afraid, in this state, I think that's a long shot.
Well, I hear you, and I would say we all know that. I mean, we're interested in the miniseries because we're interested in telling great stories. Like, we know that. We're on the same page. What I would ask you in return, in all due respect, is just as we see, as you do, the importance for telling a great story about Theodore Roosevelt, maybe we see something about the importance of safeguarding in the states that remain, that have not voted in a film commission yet. Maybe we see the importance of safeguarding 8 states in the long run in America that care about family programming. Because here's the news. Within 10 years, a film commission is coming to North Dakota, whether you want one or not, the way the market is moving. You may as well control it to be in alignment with your values.
Who's in control here?
I think that the fact that 42 states in America already have one, it's just the way the market is moving. Your government will eventually vote one in, but they will vote it in with or without the controls on it.
Well, the control,
I don't doubt that, but my eagerness is to do a Theodore Roosevelt story.
Oh, we're on the same page there.
Not in delay for the other. That control can still happen in the future when that time is right. And I say that as encouragement, not as doubt. I just say, I don't think there's anybody around these tables that disagrees that Theodore Roosevelt isn't worthy of a great film or miniseries.
Well, it's surprising it hasn't been done already.
Yeah, but I think you get the sense that the two are connected. They're loosely connected in that sense. But we're not saying that something needs to be in place to make a miniseries.
Can you do this? Can you come somebody and make the film without a film commission?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the idea of the film commission is that you're going to have some control over what kind of films are going to be made.
We will. Yeah.
Not us, but the
No, the
state in
state.
general in
The
the
state,
long
but
term.
I don't know if the state wants to do that.
Well, you know what? They will be interested in doing it if there's a successful film.
There you go.
If there's a successful miniseries. Woolly Boys wasn't an example for them to say, hey, let's get excited and do this.
Yeah.
That's the quickest and most successful route to having a North Dakota film industry is to create a great film that's successful.
It's a chicken and an egg question.
Have
Fargo was a successful movie. It was about North Dakota, and the only reason it wasn't shot in North Dakota is that you didn't have any film incentives.
Well, it was because it was about her.
As much as it was for.
Yeah.
But the brand was the name.
But
and
it was
wasn't
shot
shot
in
in.
Canada,
because
though, because
Canada
of
has
tax
film
incentives.
incentives.
Yeah.
It has to do with the tax structure as well. So the laws in a state attract an industry in order to do things in those states because there are reasons for doing them. And the states that have made it most attractive actually attract then those production companies.
Sure.
Canada has gone out of its
Yeah.
way. So you see a lot of films made in Vancouver and Toronto and other places in Canada because they've done that. It's very competitive globally, though. We should remember this because there's lots of competition for these films, where they'll go, because of the economic multiplier effect. So that if you do a film, you create a large number of jobs in that state, you create a tourist buzz, and you have all that follow-on effect. So the people that do the calculations, and some of these people are at this table, would suggest that there's a very large economic incentive for setting some of this infrastructure up.
And the tax breaks make a big difference to studios and filmmakers. I mean, you're talking about wanting a great program. Today, with the green screen, you can shoot a miniseries about Theodore Roosevelt and about the Badlands absolutely anywhere.
And just
The
drop in
reason people will come to North Dakota to shoot stories about North Dakota instead of shooting them in New Orleans, because they will shoot them outside of New Orleans, which has the biggest green screen capacity in North America and one of the biggest tax breaks. The reason they will shoot it in North Dakota instead of going to Louisiana is if you have the same tax incentives. So that's why movies aren't getting shot in North Dakota.
The short answer to Sheila's question is no, we don't need a film commission, we don't need incentives, we don't need a city that's, you know, giving hotel breaks to the actors and everything. We don't need any of that to do Roosevelt. It's a big enough story. It's a world-class story, and he's the guy who shaped the American century. All of that can happen, and Randy's exactly right. All of that can happen, and that will help. If we want to do the largest good,
Yes.
in the big lands with big people and big, if we want to do the largest goods, while we're doing that, we'll plant the seeds to say, if you want to create not just a great miniseries, but the seeds for an industry that people will want to come and create other inspirational stories that you don't need.
Have 100 stories.
You don't need nudity to sell a great movie. You don't need profanity to sell a great.
So there's gonna be
movie. You don't.
stipulations?
No. In my movie, I have my own personal morals. I will not put anything in my movie that would offend my grandma or my grandkids. So.
And is that what you hope the city commission will say?
City commission can do what it wants, but if they see an inspirational thing and they can see you can make money and a great product. In fact, we have statistics that show that if you make a movie that 4 people will go to, a whole family instead of one teenage boy, you are literally going to make more. You're going to do better with a movie that will sell 4 tickets instead of 1. 85% of the theater seats in America are empty. 85%. What if?
Television.
Oh,
Yeah,
jot it down.
and what if you create something that people want to go back to once or twice or 3 times and bring their friends to?
Have you talked to legislators, or is our state ready to have a film commission?
No.
Oh.
But as of Wednesday night, thanks to
Well, I guess they're moving in that direction.
wonderful people who hosted our dinner, Congressman Kramer, who was the MC, the governor came and did a welcome. Sarah Coleman was absolutely amazing. Randy and people who are willing to start looking at this. The legislature isn't anywhere near it. They don't even know about it. But it'd probably take 18 months and one really good project for a handful of people to say, why don't we try to attract this kind of thing? If this project did X, what can we set in place to get 10 projects that then get 50 projects? And you need 3 to 5 movies a year in order to have the infrastructure. If somebody really wants to work in the industry, they can't work once every 10 years. They need to be able to if they're going to invest in it, if they're going to buy equipment, if they're going to hire people, if you're going to keep kids who major in journalism and script writing and screenwriting and 13 other majors, you need to have enough work here so that they can stay here and raise their kids here.
I can see where, the tax credits are very important to the production.
For the long term.
But at the end of the day, sometimes I'm guessing, the chicken and the egg, sometimes, it comes in the order that isn't as convenient as some, if you have it. We had the same hope with Woolly Boys. We really did. I mean, those folks had the same vision. I didn't think they had as good a story. They didn't have as good a
It's a very
subject.
poorly written story. It's a poorly written
What is a better story than Teddy Roosevelt?
But we're biased.
If you were going to say, okay,
Roosevelt's a
rich
good concept.
Rich New York aristocrat, top family, all the money he needs. Wife dies in his arms. Let's make it Valentine's Day. That's a little. No. Let's have his mother and his wife die on Valentine. No, that's not going to. You couldn't tell a better story than this. And then to have his handwritten letter, the light has gone out of my life in a big X. And to see 2 days later, 3 days later on the 17th, for better or worse, my life has now been lived out. You couldn't write a beginning of a show. No one would believe that story. Well, guess what? That's what happened. This is the best story. You couldn't make this story up. This is. And then his depression. He was deeply depressed. And what happened here, Sheila? What happened here that got him through that? And what happened before here that gave him the strength from his upbringing to be able to bounce back? Because you can't come back to a place you've never been.
Well, he says it was the life that he lived in the desert that